Basically, the types of assignment I get is this batch job is taking 80 hours to run. We need to complete it within a batch window of 4 hours or 6 hours. This online transaction is taking 20 seconds. It should run in less than 2 seconds. Or even if 100 users are concurrently using it, its response time should not deteriorate. So this is the type of assignment that I get. And when we complete the assignment, there is a feeling of, oh, what was done? So that feeling of mystery, that is what I want to take out during this assignment. First, let me set some context. Today, the systems are developed with very powerful hardware and system software. We are using very, very advanced platforms. But many times, when the systems are developed using such platforms, the output that we get is this. How long will it take for me to get the response? And that's when the end user starts thinking, what am I spending my money for? I faced this question at the very early stage of my career when I was working on a platform migration. The old system that was designed using COBOL, it was monolithic architecture running on a very small server, but still it was giving very good performance. The new system that was designed using Oracle and Power Builder, it was client server architecture and it was working on a hardware that was at least 10 times more powerful. Business functionality was same, but still many of the areas started performing poorly. So the question is, if hardware is more powerful, business functionality is same, underlying data is same, why the performance is bad? What went wrong? The answer is, that is the way system was designed. So, application software designer is confused. What are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that I need to do? And I will get the desirable performance. In this presentation, first I am going to present some common sense guidelines which are based upon day-to-day scenarios and then convert it into easy technical terms. First, look at this picture. This is a toolkit. When you look at it, what comes to your mind? A right place for everything and everything in its right place. Think further. Why there are so many tools? What if you try to use a hammer when you need to use a drill? This is what you will get. So the first guideline is, you need to use the right tool for the right function. In application development, you have app server, database tier and UI. If you try to perform a function that belongs to one tier and try to do it in other tier, you are in for trouble. Let's take the examples. The first one, I see this very often. In many applications, people try to do pagination in application server. With an intention, they want to use business rules for filtering or grouping. Now, here what happens is, your user interface is asking for 20 records or say first page of records. But your application server goes to the database, fetches all the underlying records, then groups it, filters it and gives the 20 records to the front end. All the time is wasted into this, getting the records from DB server to app server. And that's where you get the performance problem. So what is the way out? The way out is very simple. Use the right tier, move the pagination to the database, and all the performance problems are solved. Let's take one more example. This is also very, very widespread observation. What happens is, say you have got two models, model A and model B. What model A does is, it loads all the records from table A. Model B loads all the records from table B. And then you start merging them into app server memory. Now, application server does not have the power of relational algebra, which is there in the database. Okay, and all the time is wasted into your Java loop or C loop, which tries to merge, or something like JoSQL. Okay, and that's invitation for the performance problem. What is the way out? you define a specialized domain model C, which does the joining and merging into the database and then pulls the resultant record out. This way what you have done is, you have moved from the use of a wrong tool to the right tool, and performance problem is solved. Many people keep on saying service-oriented architectures are slow. This is the root cause for ill-conceived service-oriented architectures to be slow. In a single project, I have found at least 10 such places into different programs. And when you correct it, the performance improvement you get is tremendous. Let's move on to the next category. If you see how the household operations are run, all the non-perishable goods like grains, wheat is, annually stocked. Your perishable goods like fruits, vegetables, they are bought fresh daily. Or someone will go to the supermarket once a month and buy all the requirements for the month, right? So what is the guideline to the designer is optimum use of caching and lazy loading, which is very generic. But remember this, if you try to compose a very large object by making a single network read, it's much more efficient than trying to make multiple small reads and then compose it. Let's take one example. This observation was there for one of the underwriting projects, where the policy object load was taking tremendous amount of time. Now, when we started analyzing it, we found underwriting needs lots of information, and policy object was having almost 100 child tables. And how the policy object was composed? For each child table, you will put one network call. So in order to fetch one policy object, there would be about 100 network calls. So we decided we want to get rid of all these network calls. We want to have a single network call. And what we did is, we started giving the policy XML out from the database, and in the single call, entire policy object was read into the application server. That is what solved the performance problem. Now, what is better than reducing the network trips? Obviously, completely avoiding it, right? If we look at this oil producing countries, they also set up refineries, right? Because it is much more cost efficient to refine the oil locally. So the learning is, do the local processing as far as possible. But can we do it in systems? Yes, there are many places where we can do it. Let's take two examples. This is something which I came across just last month, and similar many problems over a period of time. Say in New York, Hurricane Sandy was there. Okay, and directive says for next 2 months, don't send out premium notice. The way the program was written is, for all the policies in the New York area, fetch policy, update flag, persist policy. Now if you see, if you have got 100,000 policies, you are making 200,000 calls and fetching the big object this side and sending it back. Can you do it without complete network transfer at all? Yes. Just send an instruction out. Update policy, set suspension flag where the zip code is New York. There is no business logic here. You don't need to do any elaborate business rules running, and this works. And the time taken is, like a fraction of the time which was taken earlier. One more thing, this is also, architectural problem. I have seen into many projects. What people do is, when they want to have workflow or technical workflow, they have an external workflow engine. Now, all the services are part of your own system. Okay, that external workflow engine keeps on calling your services one after one, and you have across the JVM calls. If your business services are implemented across different systems, that's fine to have an external engine. But when everything is in your engine, why do you need an external engine to call one after one? It's like English people coming to rule India, You have got all the facilities here, but you are calling an external person to come and rule you. So what is the way out? You move to local government. You need business processes, but you don't need network calls. So you need to use lightweight process controller, which runs into your own JVM or your in-process controller. I have seen at least 3 systems which initially use external workflow controller, and because of the performance problem, they moved to in-process use of workflow controllers. And that is where the performance problems get solved. Let's move on to the next category. Look at this picture. This fellow, Sumo, he is built for wrestling. But do you think he can win 100-meter race? Obviously not. So size matters. You cannot expect to have a single big general purpose service and use it for doing every small little work. One example, I was working into a policy admin system, and the requirement in the user interface on tab out of policy ID, you need to display client name. Now it was taking something like 6-7 seconds. Why the hell client name display should take 6-7 seconds? The way the program was written was get policy.getClient.getName. What it was doing is entire policy it was doing by get policy, then extracting client name out of it, and then displaying it. So in order to display name, you are transferring the big policy object over the network. So what is the way out? You create a specialized service, get policy client name, and the problem is solved. Let's move on. Think about this. Ben Johnson, the fastest runner, even he cannot run 100 meters in a second, right? Then very famous statement. 9 mothers cannot produce a child in 1 month. But 9 mothers can produce 9 children in 9 months. So average time to produce a child has come down to 1 month. Now you may feel like killing the statistician here, right? But the learning is, at times, you cannot shrink the unit processing time. If you want better throughput, you have to use multi-threading. Common sense says there are many jobs in banking and insurance like accounting entries, premium processing. They can never work in single-threaded mode. But many systems, initially they write it single-threaded, and when clients start making noise, it doesn't work. They convert to multi-threading. This could have been done from the beginning itself. Let's move on to the next category. Amateurs can't beat professionals. Let's take a case. Sachin, he is a professional cricketer, right? But he is not a professional car racer. He might be an amateur car racer. So can he beat Lewis Hamilton in car racing? Obviously no. However good cricketer he is, but he is not a car racer. And if he participates in race, either he is going to create mortal danger for himself or for the other racers. So the guideline is, if you are an application software designer, focus upon application software design. Don't try to build operating system or app server or ESB features into your program. I came across a system which decided to build their own ESB. An insurance application product which decided to build their own ESB and wasted a lot of time into first building ESB and then correcting all the problems. Many times, when the code is not performing well, and I try to go and see where is the problem, it is, somebody who is trying to mimic app server feature into their code. And those are very small, like trying to find the difference between 2 dates. It was taking 20% of the time into a system instead of using a direct Java function. Okay, so these are the things which one must avoid, where the infrastructure facility is there, use it. So, to summarize, don't expect a system to perform just by throwing more hardware to it. If you want a system to perform, it must be designed that way. The system performance assurance needs to be handled at both the levels, proactively by designers and reactively by test engineers. It's very simple. All it needs is common sense along with technical skills. Fortunately, we have lots of technical skills, but the problem is common sense is very uncommon. Thank you. Thank you for listening.